Hey everybody, Cinephile Mike, your friendly neighborhood cinephile here with episode 15 of Oscar Rewind, the 2024 edition, my bi-weekly series of videos where I revisit older films that reflect the work of this past year's Oscar nominees and winners. Again, if this is your first time joining, my hope with these videos is that you will rediscover an old favorite that you forgot about, or maybe find and discover something new. As always, my reviews are spoiler free, so there's no harm, no foul in watching me first or watching the film first and then coming back to check in with me. I will also, as always, give you any award season history relevant to the film, give you some critic and audience review numbers, as well as discuss the box office. If you are one of those box office pundits that's like, I want to know if that movie made bank. Today, I'm discussing a fun one where, for the first time, I believe, all season, I'm going to be giving this film two ratings overall. Not like ones in the past where I've said, the film is this, but this one performance is this. This film's actually going to get two ratings. If you're curious, I will get there. But today, I'm going to tell it to you straight, just like it is, like the lyrics in the titular song of Buena Vista Pictures, or as they are now renamed, Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures' Straight Talk. Released in the spring of 1992, Straight Talk was written by Craig Bolotin and directed by Barnet Kellman. Now, according to Box Office Mojo, the film only had a domestic release, no international, so all of its worldwide total comes from this side of the pond, where it made a total of $21,202,099. As for its ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, this film has some of the lower numbers of the films I've discussed, with a 46% critical rating, but still higher than the 20% that Mannequin had, and a 58% audience score. So, straight talk. How does a rom com with Dolly Parton end up here? Well, it's a result of the sound. Re-recording mixer Dean A. Zupanchik, credited without the A in Straight Talk, just as Dean Zupanchik, he earned not one Oscar nomination this year, but two. Yes, two. He was nominated for two Best Sound Awards this year, serving as the re-recording mixer along with fellow teammates. He was nominated for both the creator and maestro. And as in Maestro, with Straight Talk, there's a lot of work in Straight Talk with balancing varied musical compositions that underscored the story as well as the story itself. Now, as for awards love for Straight Talk, there is none. Despite my research, looking on IMDb and all over, this film was not nominated for any awards at all. In which some capacity I get, but at a minimum, I feel given her history, Dolly Parton wrote all 10 original songs for the soundtrack, and I would assume one of them could have been a front runner, but to be fair, the music that year was tough. Of the five nominees, four of them went to two films. If you are an Oscar trivia specialist, you probably heard, oh, the film was in 92? Those music nominations, all we cared about was Aladdin and The Bodyguard. So, no awards love for Straight Talk, but it's still here. Good job for you, Dean. Let's get into it. Straight Talk is the story of Shirley Kenyon, played by two-time Oscar nominee herself, Dolly Parton. Shirley is a former waitress and dance instructor from Arkansas who loves to chat and give advice to her clients, more than dance the dance that she's supposed to do. And unfortunately, all of the running of the mouth and talking gets her fired from yet another job, much to the dismay of her boyfriend Steve, played by Michael Madsen. And despite her best efforts to get him to pack up his bags and move with her to Chicago for a bigger and better life, he rejects her. So she takes his bowling bag and her suitcase and packs it up and heads off to the Windy City without him. Renting a room in a hotel and looking for a job, she is finally able to get one after a lot of rejection, working as a receptionist for the WNDY radio station. A station who's been having some difficulty in the ratings when it comes into their call in psychologist show because the therapists they've had are a little droll. But we've learned from program manager Alan that he has hired someone new and exciting, Dr. Kendall, legit, and is going to make sure that the listeners all tune in. So, On what will be Dr. Kendall's first day, turns out to be Shirley Kenyon's first day working as a receptionist. I think you can see where I'm going here. Kendall doesn't show up. Kenyon walks in to get coffee, and they think, oh, Kenyon, Kendall, close enough. You must be the new call in therapist. Let's put you on the air, which they do. It's a little bit out there, but okay. Shirley chats. She loves to chat. Chats with people. Gets through the on-air episode of the talk show. Then the program manager shows up, wondering what is going on. Has her leave. Fires her. Says don't come back. Tries to figure out what to do now that this has happened. But the response is good. Everybody loves Shirley on the radio. So they bring her back, and Alan says he's going to sell her to the public as Dr. Shirley. But she's not a doctor. Even though Alan finally sells with all sincerity that Shirley is a doctor of the heart, she agrees to go along with this charade and go on the radio as Dr. Shirley. But how long can she live this lie? How long can the former dance teacher convince people that she is a psychologist? What will she do? One of the people that she will meet trying to uncover this is a journalist named Jack, played by James Woods, who had met Shirley right upon her arrival in Chicago amidst an almost bizarre understanding where you're like, yeah, this is the thing of romantic comedies. How long can Shirley carry on this charade? You got to check out the movie to see. Here's the thing. Straight Talk is a very formulaic romantic comedy that doesn't add anything new to the conversation. We've seen it before: a mistaken identity, a meet cute, an argument, a love triangle, and a happy end. Spoiler, mini, yes. But you know what? The way the film goes to get there, Bullotin knows the tropes and he plays with them fine. The thing that really makes it all work in all of its absurdity is Parton at the center. She spews more one-liners of advice with such a charm that you can't help but smile, and she's in virtually every scene of the whole film. So she carries you with her. I mean, the premise of how she gets the job, it's very absurd. The circumstances, I mean, yes, this is a pre-internet time where we could have just very quickly looked her up on social media and seen not who she says she is, but hey, this is the 90s. We don't have all that yet. And again, it's a rom-com. We're going to play into the trope. What also makes it work very well is Parton has very good chemistry with James Woods on screen. And already you're probably thinking, wait, he's the journalist, she's the celebrity. Well, that can go well. I feel that because the sound is why this film landed, I do want to talk a little bit about the work Zupanchik did on this film. He did actually a really nice job. Much of this film takes place in very public settings: the radio station, and several highly populated events such as dinners at restaurants, parties, a talk show, and many scenes that take place on the street. There's even one great sequence where the street scenes, when Shirley is out looking for a job, pounding the pavement, all of the sounds, whether it's the traffic on the streets, the click of her stilettos on the sidewalk, or the library hallway, and the crossing guards shouting, let's go, all tuned in with one of the 10 original songs that Parton wrote, all works very well and almost allows for these sounds to become like a supporting player in the film. You're always able to follow the primary action of what's going on. Patrick gives us just enough of the background to really believe we are where we're supposed to be. So, as I said, this is the first time that we're really going to kind of give a film two ratings. Looking at this film critically, through the eyes of a critic, the way I, rank these films, I really can't go higher than 3 stars for this film. The plot is just absurd and unrealistic. A few of the performances are a little bit over the top. But again, Parton makes it watchable. It's enjoyable. Griffin Dunn and James Woods play great supporting players as Shirley goes on her journey. But the second rating, I feel, if you just are loving guilty pleasure films, this is a 5-star guilty pleasure film for me. This is one that if I need to laugh, I can throw this on no matter how I'm feeling because there's just a charm to it. It's a feel good movie that I've seen many times. And as I was doing the research, I was so happy to say actually be able to work this one into the conversation. But there you have it. So, a critical take, film is a 3. A personal love of a guilty pleasure film, it's a 5. If you are interested in watching Straight Talk, because hey, you're a Parton fan, and if you are, this is one that you should catch or rewatch. You might have forgotten about this one. I mean, it did come out in 92. This film is not available on any streaming platforms as of this recording, but you can rent it on most all digital platforms. So, there we go. 15 days into the Oscar Rewind 2024 edition. Hope you're enjoying the journey. If this is your first time here, welcome. Please, everybody, continue to spread the word, let other people know, join the conversation. You can follow me, Cinephile Mike, on all social media platforms, then on Letterboxd. Is there a film that you're hoping I get to this season? Let me know in the comments. I might invite you on to review it with me. All right, everyone. Until next time, happy watching. And I sign off saying this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.